Welcome, everybody. I am excited to be interviewing someone who needs no introduction, Sabrina Ferry.
Well, I'm not sure about no introduction, but thank you. It's nice to be here.
So first, tell us just a teeny bit about your background, where you sold real estate from, how long you sold real estate for.
Yeah, that's actually interesting because I don't think a lot of people understand that both Mike and I sold real estate. Mike, everybody knows because he talks about that, and that part's great. But when I met Mike, I was a real estate agent in London, Ontario, Canada. And I remember being told by some friends of mine, oh, you've got to come with us to hear Mike Ferry. Honest to goodness, my response was, Mike who? It's Mike Ferry. You've got to hear this guy. He's great. And I ended up going, and I went up to Toronto, and there was an event in January. And that's the first time that I met Mike, and that was in 1994.
1994.
Yeah.
And now you have the name Ferry, so.
I know, right? So my dear friend who unfortunately passed away some time ago, I often think of her and think, you know, it probably would have been worth another conversation. But yes, that's how I met Mike.
So you and Mike get this really unique perspective on real estate because you guys get to see it from all over the world. Most people get their local area and maybe what they see on social media. You guys get to see it from all over the world. I want to know, what are the things that agents are saying that they need the most help with right now?
Well, you know, it's such an interesting market right now, and for some people it has been really, really challenging. And then other people are doing really well. We have clients who in the month of May took 15 listings. We have Ibrahim Awada, who is up in Seattle. He had 26 sales in the month of May. So where is that discrepancy? What is happening? And it's interesting because when you have the skills and you know what to do, people are succeeding when they follow their schedule and do what they're supposed to do. There are a lot of people who are also struggling right now. Now, I have to say, when I was a real estate agent, my first 2 years were a struggle. I did not want to prospect. It was difficult. People hung up on you. People weren't really nice. By the way, the thing about no one ever answering, that was the same in 1994 as it is today. So that's not a new one either. It's just you have to stick with it.
So that was going to be one of my questions is, what were the challenges you faced as an agent in the 90s, and how much has that drastically changed since, we're in 2023 now?
Well, you know what's always funny to me is people talk about what has drastically changed. Right. And then there's all this new technology. Well, we have competitors who still teach open house and geographic farming, for goodness sakes. That's as old as dirt, right. And that is still stuff that we do. So there are things that are tried and proven that work. So as far as new objections, most people still want to know exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. What's my house worth? What are you going to do to get it sold? How long is it going to take? And what do you charge? Think about it. That's what every homeowner wants to know. So no, not a lot of big changes. Right. Just a lot of different ways of wrapping up our old problems.
So you brought it up, the new thing with technology. Tell me, we have some top producers that work with Mike Ferry who do use a lot of social media. We do have some who don't have any social media. What's your personal take on it?
Well, for me, I'm not a big social media person. I've tried a couple of times, and it's just, to me, if you are personally involved, it's a huge time sucker. It's just, you can go down a rabbit hole there pretty darn quick. A lot of the agents that we talk with, they say that they have someone who does their social media for them. And I understand, but that kind of also takes out the idea of social media. Right. You know, so it's one of those things that it's not going to go away. It's here to stay. And to me, I look at social media as being the whipped cream and cherry on top. You need to have the skills. You need to have a solid business approach to what you're doing if this is your career and if you want to make a lot of money in this industry. And if you don't, then social media is perfect. Right. So it's not going away.
So you stay away from it mainly because it just takes up a lot of time for you?
Well, it's not that I stay away from it. I try. I have to admit, I try. But all of a sudden, 4 or 5 days have gone by and I haven't posted anything. And what I see out there is everybody posts their sunset, or we all posted posts about our dad on Father's Day. And that's great. And I can say that I know a lot more of what people are doing these days than I have ever known before. And to some degree, that's cool. But I don't see that as helping me necessarily build a business.
Excellent. So, like I said, you get to see real estate from a world perspective.
Yeah.
Where most people only get to see the little teeny bit that they're surrounded by. What would you give as the best advice for somebody, regardless of where they're selling? What do you think is the best advice for them right now?
Well, obviously, I would say Mike Ferry. And I would say the Superstar Retreat that is coming up. This is something that Mike has spent 48 years. He's going into his 49th year of doing this. And the only goal we have ever had is to help agents increase their production and increase their profitability. You're not going to do that by the latest, greatest. For long-term sustainability, you need to have skills. You need to know what to say. You need to know how to react when someone gives you an objection. You need to know how to help someone make the decision to choose you as the agent that they're going to list with. And that really is what Mike Ferry, the man, and our company have been about all this time. So that's my recommendation.
One other thing that you brought up is that there's a lot of Mike Ferry competitors out there that are pushing geographic farming, that are pushing any type of kind of creative avoidance to not prospect. Now, was that around when Mike Ferry was around? And then why do people think Mike Ferry's so old school if that stuff's been around for so long?
Well, I think the biggest people who think that Mike Ferry is old school is the competitors, which is great because they all use our stuff.
Right.
But we're old school. So to me, that's always been kind of amusing watching the criticism, and yet they all do the same things. Or my favorite, all these companies that want to tell you you'll never have to make another prospecting call again if you use their service, and they're calling you to sell you their service.
Right.
There's a little disconnect there. So when it comes right back to it, it is always understanding, having the sales skills necessary to sell in any market. One of the things I love about what Mike teaches is he said, if you have the skills, whatever the economy does, it doesn't affect you. Right now, the number one thing people are concerned about is, as far as the agents that we talk to, oh, interest rates are so high. Well, there was a time that they were 18, 19, 20%.
Right.
And the question always is, are people still getting married? Are people still needing more space? Are they downsizing? These things all continue to happen irregardless of what is going on with the interest rates. Maybe not as frequently, but it still happens. NAR is still saying that 4.7 million homes will sell this year.
Right.
That's a lot of homes.
So there's still people who need to sell.
Yeah.
So are the skills to talk to those people being taught at the retreat?
Mike's going to talk about a lot of things, and that's what we're so excited about. On day one, he will talk about 100 points to build your business, and they are already prepared in written form in our workbook, so you'll just fill in the blank of the missing word so you can really pay attention to what he's teaching. He will also talk about how to build a business of 25, 50, or 75 transactions a year. And there are key points, Mike, that you have to know that you're building on and that you're developing and becoming stronger and better in. So this is the retreat that you want to be at, because this is the retreat that will help you with those skills.
All right. Well, Sabrina, I can't thank you enough for doing this for us. Thank you, everybody, for paying attention, and we hope to see you at the retreat soon.
Sign up today. We want to see you in Las Vegas.